Welcome to, where do you think I'm at? Then there's a lot of mountains. Good morning so I took that clip last night right when I had gotten in. I thought it was kind of ominous because it was raining and you could see the mountains, but I am in Cumberland, Maryland, of all places. And I had to go through some mountains, which I knew I would. And I knew the elevation was lower here because I wanted to go in the lowest mountains I could. And so that's kind of why I'm going this way. And it wasn't like the Sedona Mountains where they were super high and you could just see fall off cliffs. These were like hairpin turns. But I did it. And I had an epiphany when I was driving through the mountains. And I'm going to save this for later, but I think it's kind of the crux of the whole reason of this trip. So, yeah, this has probably been the most important leg of the journey so far, because I realized something. So, anyway, I'm going to get back on the road. It's still raining here, but it's not raining right now. And I drove the mountains through the rain too. I drove for over 4 hours yesterday. Very proud of myself. Okay, I'm going to get on the road and let's see where I land today. All right, come on. Let's go. Let's get on the road. Get some coffee. I'll see you soon. Bye. I pulled over. I wasn't going to, but I just wanted to show you. It was even a more beautiful view when I was up top the road. But I had to stop. I am in Pennsylvania. The sun's out. And look how beautiful that field is. And there's Charlene. And that's where we're going. Okay, let's go. Hey everyone. So I kind of have you propped up so I can use my hands. And I'm in the van. I have so many boxes in here now, I can barely get through my walkway. But the sun's going down, so I'm going to try and stay in the middle here. But yeah, so I made it to where I was headed. I'm in Pennsylvania. And gosh, what a beautiful country. I literally had to stop to take that picture, and I was driving. And listen, I am driving like through the mountains, and it was hard not to look to the side to see how beautiful that just the landscape is. And so this was going to be a big celebratory kind of part of the video, but my brother-in-law just wrote me a couple hours ago, and our friend Carrington, he's my mom's friend. He's like around her age. He's like 92. And he was in the hospital. I talked to her the other night, and he had his friend called her to tell her he was in the hospital. And I guess he was on the upswing, getting better. And my brother-in-law wrote me just a little bit ago, and he's taken a turn for the worse, and they don't expect him to make it. And so, but I want to celebrate his life too. So it's not all negative or bad, because he lived a really great life. And I think I told this story before, but I'll tell you how we met. He's been part of our family since I can pretty much remember. And so when I was in high school, there was, in Maplewood Mall, there was a place called Bishop's Buffet. And so it was like, you know, you go and eat at the buffet. And my mom and dad started going on Friday nights for some reason. And that was kind of their date night. And so they would just go there every Friday night after work to eat. And there was always a big table of people eating there. And so one night they asked them to come and join them. And so they did, and found out that that's how they all met each other. Like, one person came, and then, you know, they saw somebody else, and they're like, hey, do you want to sit here? And then it ended up being like 20 of them. So every Friday night they would all meet at Bishop's Buffet. And then the women told my mom and dad that they would see them come in, and they would all be so envious, the women would, because they would see my dad like help my mom on with her coat, and then they would watch him like help her you know, take it off when they got there and put it on when they left. And all the women would swoon, because I take it their husbands didn't do that. And so that's how they met. And then Bishop's closed, and then they all started going to Old Country Buffet, OCB. But when Jessie was little, she called it OBC, because I was a single mom, and on Friday nights I would pick Jessie up, and then we would go meet them for dinner. So we would all sit around, so we knew all of them very well. And then Carrington, that's his name, and my dad formed some special bond. And I have to tell you, Carrington is African American, and they would always say that they were brothers from another mother. And they really had this special relationship. And then when my dad passed away, it continued on with my mom. And my mom would always say to me, and she just said it recently, that Carrington's the only one that gets her. You know how there's someone that you can talk to and there's nothing you can say that'll be like, oh my gosh, or, you know, they think anything of. They just be like, oh yeah. And they talked about metaphysics and theology and poetry, because that's exactly, they were both that way. And Carrington doesn't have any family here, and he never was married, never had any kids. And he would come to every single one of our family holidays. It didn't matter what it was. You always knew Carrington was going to be there, whether it was, you know, Christmas or Easter or a baby shower or whatever it was. He was always invited, and he was always there. He is always there. So my brother-in-law said that he was taking my mom, him and my sister were taking my mom to go see him. And so I really hope, you know, with COVID and stuff, that they get to see him before he passes. So, and a couple things about Carrington. From what I know from my mom, that he was a psychologist for 3M for a long time, like over 30 years. And I don't know what a psychologist did at 3M, if they psychoanalyzed the employees or the higher ups, or if there was some other job he did doing that. And then he went to theology school. And so, you know, that's a reason too why, and, you know, I grew up Catholic, went to a Catholic school my whole life. My dad was very Catholic. And so they all just had a lot in common. And so, yeah. And I will tell you too that recently, and, you know, when somebody's close to you, so we just have to do better. You know, just being in Fredericksburg, that Carrington, he still drove, but he would only drive to like the grocery store, and then he would have somebody take him. And he would only drive during the day because he was afraid, as a black man, he said, to go out, because he was afraid for his safety. And no one should be afraid for their safety just because of the color of their skin. And again, I know a lot of you said we have to remember what we've already been through and do better, and that it's still happening, and that, you know, he's coming to the end of his life. and that he felt kind of sheltered because he was afraid to even go out by himself at nighttime. So I just wanted to say that, because it just, you know, when you love somebody, again, you just look at their soul and their heart and, you know, they have a good soul and a good heart, then, you know, they're part of the family. He is part of our family. I haven't gotten an updated condition on him right now. But the other celebratory thing is it's Jesse's 21st birthday. So 21 years ago, and I always tell her a story every year now. I say, you know what else is 21? She goes, Mom, your scar? I said, yeah. I go, do you know they had to cut me open, take my organs out, set them aside to get you out? And she goes, yeah, Mom, I know. You tell me the story every year. So every year, it's tradition now. I have to say that to her. But she is 21, and I am so proud to be her mother. I couldn't have handpicked a more beautiful daughter to have, and not just physically, but her heart is bigger than anything. She loves humankind. She loves animals. Believe me, we had every animal that there was, because somehow she would talk me into getting it. We've had rabbits. We've had guinea pigs. We've had crabs. Is that what it is? Those hermit crabs. Yes. We had a cat. The only thing I kept saying no to was a dog, because I'm like, Jesse, we're not home enough. And the dog, it would be not good for the dog. But believe me, we've had fish. We've had, oh, I can't even tell you. Did I say rabbit? Yeah, beans. Beans pooped all over. She's like, no, we can train him. That's what they told me. You can train him. Yeah, Beans was never trained. So, yeah. And she's so smart. Oh, I mean, she was in all the advanced classes in high school, and she was one of the people. She graduated with 1,500 people, and they had their graduation ceremony in a big auditorium. And so, and she was one of the few people asked to get up and say a speech. And she's always had a 4.0, even in high school. She graduated cum laude. Is it cum laude or cum laude? I'll have to look that up. But, and then even continuing in college, she's a junior, and she still has a 4.0. She's going to be a special ed teacher. She just found out yesterday she got a job at the Y there, making $22.50 an hour this summer, because she's staying in Seattle. And, yeah, she just has a big heart. And yeah, to be a special needs teacher. She worked with special needs when she was in high school. And yeah, and she's a coxswain for the rowing team in college, and she's actually a captain this year. And so I can't even tell you how proud I am and what an honor it is to be her mom, and to see her grow up and just become this beautiful person. I mean, she always was, but you know, as they grow up, you see them working and becoming who they are. And so I am just so proud of her, and just so honored to be chosen as her mama. And yeah, so that was a little mom brag for a little bit. Sorry, had to do it. Yeah, and let's see, what else do I want to cover? I also wanted to say that, you know, when I talked in my last video about my piercings and stuff, I wanted to tell you, because a lot of people keep saying, oh, don't, you know, give any notice to the trolls. And listen, that wasn't what that was about. When I started talking, I said it was just, I laughed, and it was like opening a conversation to that, because I know so many people who have tattoos or piercings who have been like, you know, people said stuff to them like that, or their job. I know the law firm I worked at, you couldn't have any tattoos, and if you did, you had to cover them up. Even if it was summer, you had to wear long sleeves so that your tattoos weren't showing, which I don't understand. As long as you do a good job, what does having a tattoo have anything to do with it? You know, I mean, a beautiful tattoo. And so so yeah, that's what I was saying. It was just a conversation starter. It wasn't about them. And so that segues nicely into the epiphany I had just driving over the mountains. And I am so proud of myself. I think I was saying the first mountains I went over was these hairpin turns. And I was nervous, but you know, it was raining, and that's normal, like a normal kind of nervous. But I wasn't like freaked out, or I didn't have anxiety. And this big epiphany that I have had is that I think where the fear came from is that when my family, you know, was dying on my, you know, I tell you, my sister, my brother-in-law, my dad, my brother, my sister's in assisted living home, that I never had control over any of that. And listen, nothing wrong with being Catholic, but just growing up Catholic and in a Catholic school my whole life, my grade school and my high school, you know, that a lot of it's based on fear, like you're a sinner and it doesn't seem like you ever have any control because it's all these people, even though you haven't done anything wrong, you know, like you're supposed to repent, and you just feel like there's this ominous being that's judging you all the time, and it's based on fear, at least for my experience. And may not have been yours, and that's okay. And I'm not saying anything bad about being Catholic. I'm just telling you from me. And what I realized as I was driving, like just all of a sudden, because I was trying to think, why am I not like scared anymore? Why am I not scared going over bridges? Like what's happened since then? Like I didn't even know. And what I think is, and just like with the trolls too, that I forgot I have so much in my power. I think that I felt powerless because I couldn't do anything to make my family members better. I mean, there was nothing I could do to make that situation better or make them better. And, you know, being a single mom, you know, I could just get more jobs. I could just, you know, do like whatever I could do. But it always seemed, not that I was powerless, but I really didn't truly understand. I talk about the magic. I didn't understand the magic that I had. I didn't understand the power that I have, that I'm able to control things. And that's why I think, like, you know, I go to school a lot and I do all these things and I challenge myself because that's something that I can control. I'm in those situations. And even like with, you know, Lee flying in the plane, believe me, before I would have been so scared, but I completely trusted Lee. And so it was like, but that was in my control too, because I gave up control because I completely trusted him. And all of it is in me. I have the power to do that. And so when I'm driving, even I realized, you know, when I was so anxious before, when I first started driving, and I would feel bad because even if I was going the speed limit, that I was worried that the person behind me, you know, they're like, you know, getting close to me or whatever. And then I realized I have every right to be on this road, and I'm going the speed limit, and you can just go around me, or when, you know, if it's a single lane, then when there's a passing time, then you can go around. And I have every right to be here, and that's what the passing lane is for. And that's how I think now. Like I don't even mind myself with the people behind me. I mean, you know, I'm aware of everything, but I'm just like, you know what? You just have to wait. Because if you want to get down this mountain, all together in one piece and, you know, have all of us, then you'll just have to stay behind me or pass me or, you know, do whatever you got to do. Give me the finger, wave at me, whatever. And I was giving up my power to all these people. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's be like, oh, they're not going to like me. Or, you know, they're going to do this. And I have control of so much. Even a situation that I've been going through for a while now with a person, I finally realized this person's harassing me. There is no way from YouTube. And just harassing me. And today I was like, you know what? Bring it. I got evidence. And you know what? And hey, you're probably watching me because you watch all my stuff. Yeah. I don't know why. But, and it's like, you know what? I'm not afraid of you. I got the power. You're the one harassing me. So bring it. Just gives me more evidence to get a restraining order against you when I get home. So it has been, this last leg has really, and I think maybe because I'm almost done with it, that, not that I'm there yet, but like I did it, or I almost did it. And if I can get through that and get through what I've already been through, I can truly, truly, truly get through anything. And I'm just not letting people push me around anymore. That's my power. It's my magic. You can't try to put out my magic. Because guess what? I hold the magic for me. Not you. I do. And I have power over that. And I am not giving that power anymore or control to anybody else but myself. And I notice now, even when I drive over bridges, it's like, yep, I'm in control. I don't think about like the bridge being in control or doing something like that. I'm like, yep, just another road passing over. Got this. I'm in control. And it's just made that fear go away. I mean, and there's good fear to have, you know, because you want to have fear in case you're in a dangerous situation. But when you're in a normal situation, you don't want it to overtake you so that you don't, you stop yourself from doing stuff that you want to do. And that's what I did long before, even though it looked like I was doing a lot. I think I was doing it to find some control in my life that I felt like I had control over. I could go to school. I could learn all this stuff. You know, it made me feel like some part of my life was in control when I couldn't control, you know, the sickness and all the other stuff from my family. And so I am taking all my magic back. All of it. Taking it back. And guess what? I'm only doling it out to the people who I think deserve it. And you all deserve it. And you all have your own magic. And I hope that you save it for the people who only deserve it from you. And I hope you realize that you had the power. It sounds like Wizard of Oz. I think I said that once before. Like, you had it all the time. You know, when she's clicking her heels. And I was talking about how I didn't have to leave home. And I think that maybe that's it. Maybe somewhere over the rainbow. Wow, I didn't even put those two and two together. That's kind of, I always say, serendipity. That I just learned that song on a whim, and somebody told me it's like the 100th anniversary of it too. I didn't even think about that. But it's kind of, you know, how she was afraid to leave, but she wanted to leave. She wanted to get off the farm. And then she couldn't get back. And in the end, she had the power all along to get back by herself. And so I hope, really, it's been a huge breakthrough for me. And I feel free. So, okay. You know what to do. Go out and make an adventure. No matter how big or how small. You don't have to sell everything and move into a van. I did that. But if you want to, I know you can do it. You have the power to do it. You do. You have the magic. You have the magic to do anything. You have the power to do anything. And go call someone you love, please. Especially, you know, now with probably losing Carrington soon. And I just feel really bad for my mom because he was her person that she could go to all the time. And they understood. They were on the same age. They got it. They got each other. So go call someone you love. And as Joy says, tell them that you love them. And don't you ever, ever dare, ever, ever, ever forget that you're magic. And here's the thing too. Besides that, don't give your magic to people that don't deserve it. Okay? Okay. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Who knows where I'll be at next? Okay. Bye.